Russia issued a blunt warning to the West, accusing it of fueling dangerous escalations in the Ukraine conflict by supplying advanced weaponry. Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov stated that the West is playing with fire and pushing the situation toward a potential World War III.
We confirm once again that playing with fire, and they play with matches like little children, is a very dangerous thing for grown-up men and women who are entrusted with nuclear weapons in one country or another.
Lavrov criticized the West's actions, particularly the possible approval for Ukraine to use long-range Western missiles, including British-supplied Storm Shadow missiles.
This is blackmail. This is an attempt to pretend that the West wants to avoid excessive escalation, but in reality it is deceit. The West does not want to avoid escalation. The West, as they say, is asking for it.
Lavrov emphasized the serious risks involved, especially with regard to nuclear weapons, and criticized the West for exploiting Europe in its conflict with Russia.
We have our own doctrine, including the doctrine of using nuclear weapons, which, by the way, is now being clarified, and which American officials know very well. But this is simply Freudian. The Third World War is bad because we do not want Europe to suffer. Here is the entire American mentality of the master, who sits on the other side, convinced of his safety, and convinced that for him the dirty work will be done and die. Not only Ukrainians, but now also Europeans, as it turns out.
These remarks follow Ukraine's recent attack on Russia's Kursk region, one of the most significant foreign strikes on Russian territory since World War II. Despite Kyiv's claims that the attack showed Russia's retaliatory threats were hollow, Moscow has pledged a strong response. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky acknowledged that due to restrictions imposed by Ukraine's allies, the country is unable to use certain weapons to strike specific Russian military targets. He called on these allies to take more decisive action in their support of Kyiv's efforts in the war.
There should be no restrictions on the range of weapons for Ukraine, while terrorists have no such restrictions. Defenders of life should face no restrictions on weapons, while Russia uses all kinds of its own weapons, as well as Shahed drones and ballistic missiles from North Korea. The United States, the United Kingdom, France, and other partners have the power to help us stop terror. We need decisions.
Russia has claimed that Ukraine used Western-supplied weapons, including British tanks and US rocket systems, during its recent operation in the Kursk region. Ukrainian forces have confirmed that they employed US HIMARS missiles to destroy bridges in Kursk. The United States has stated that it was not informed of Ukraine's plans prior to the surprise incursion into Kursk and maintained that it did not participate in the operation. However, Russia remains skeptical of these claims. On Tuesday, Sergei Naryshkin, Russia's foreign intelligence chief, expressed doubt over Western assertions of non-involvement in the attack. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergey Ryabkov also asserted that US involvement was an obvious fact. According to a report by the New York Times, the United States and Britain provided Ukraine with satellite imagery and other intelligence regarding the Kursk region in the days following the Ukrainian operation. The report suggested that this intelligence was intended to assist Ukraine in monitoring Russian troop movements more effectively. As tensions mount, Russia's warnings highlight the growing dangers and the possibility of severe global repercussions if the West continues on its current path.